Greetings, this is Goku 50, and this is a special edition of Volcano Me. Well, it's pre-election season. I just want you guys to know I'm not going to endorse anybody. I'm not going to tell you how to vote or who to vote for. But I want to do a very special edition of Volcano Me. Now, I listened to all the debates. I listened to what both candidates have to say, paid very close attention to the issues and so on. But I want to do this, where I want to ask questions of both candidates that I don't think were addressed during the 3 debates. Or should I say, top questions that I have that I think the media would have been too gutless to ask either candidate. Category 1. Stupid things you've both said. President Obama, last July or August you said this.
Somebody invested in roads and bridges. If you got a business, you didn't build that.
Alright, you really mean that? You're really saying that my dad did not build his own business? My father has run 5 companies in his lifetime, mostly small businesses. Are you saying that my dad did not build his own business? My uncles didn't build his own business? I know many people who started businesses from the ground up. What the hell do you mean by that? That the government should take 100% credit for someone else's work? Are you saying that if a business is built, the government should take full credit, even if nothing happens? So I take it that the government invented the iPad? The government invented the airplane? Just really curious about that. Romney, last September you were caught on camera saying this in a nutshell. But in a nutshell you were basically saying this.
Get a job, you bum 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 bum. Money don't grow on trees, you bum 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 bum.
Okay, Romney, so you're saying that there's a lot of welfare bums out there, there's a lot of people who aren't getting jobs, who are fully capable of getting jobs. And by the way, you know, I've come across people like that. We all know that. And so on. We know that there's people who abuse the welfare system. We know that there's people out there who, get government assistance even though they don't really need it and so on. But you forgot somebody. You forgot someone. You do realize that there's millionaires who also get government welfare. 10 years ago, John Stossel did a report called Millionaires on Welfare. Ethanol companies, they get government-funded money to keep their operations going. Even though they're a private corporation, they're backed by government dollars. Now, you bashed PBS and Big Bird and Sesame Street for taking government money and then turning it around, and Sesame Street they also make a lot of money off of merchandise and so on. You didn't bash the ethanol companies. You didn't bash some other companies who also get government money. What about the companies who got bailouts? That's government money right there. There are certain millionaires who get government assistance who are on government welfare. Shouldn't that stop first? GE, they paid no federal income taxes in 2010 and 2011. 0. Several other companies got away with paying no federal income taxes due to loopholes. Now, you're on record, so now you're going to fix the loopholes, but you won't say which ones. So if you're going to bash the small people on welfare, why don't you bash the big people on welfare too? Here's what I've noticed about both parties. You both have your sacred cows. Republicans are on record you saying that you don't want any cuts, any federal budget reductions to the military. The Democrats say absolutely no entitlement reform. You're not touching any entitlements. The entitlements are the entitlements are the entitlements. But anything else, we're open for discussion, we're open for cuts. Well, here's the biggest problem. The military and entitlements are the 2 biggest things of why we're in debt. So here's what I want to ask. Now, I hear from the Democrats all the damn time that, if we do any reductions to Social Security or Medicare, that all old people will be on the streets. Well, hold on a minute. Not all old people are poor. Did you know that the baby boomers are actually the wealthiest generation that America's ever had? The poorest generation right now are the millennials and Gen X. There are tons of baby boomers who are well over $250,000. There are baby boomers who are even millionaires. And they still qualify for Social Security and Medicare. Why? So wait a minute. Everybody has to get Social Security and Medicare even if you don't need it. What sense does that make? Shouldn't there be entitlement reform over that? Question for Romney. You're on record saying that you want no reductions in the military spending. Now, President Obama has stated that the Pentagon is on record saying they don't need any more funding. Now, I looked it up, that is true. The Pentagon is on record saying they do not want any more money. Yet you're insisting you're going to take that extra money and you'll like it. Well, hold on a minute. The Pentagon's saying they don't need the money. And you're saying that we're $16 trillion in debt, which we are. You've talked about the deficit, which I agree with. Thank you for pointing that out. But shouldn't all things be on the table for reduction of the deficit? Even the military. Now, I know you're scared that, oh, one less tank, one less aeroplane, one less soldier, one less security panel, one less government contract, and we're going to have another 9/11 on our hands. Well, we all know that's not the case. You can cut back a little bit. And by the way, even Republicans are war-weary. Why do you think Ron Paul was so popular amongst certain Republicans this year? Now, I live in a very Ron Paul-heavy district. Republicans around here, they're sick of the war on terror. They're sick of it, but don't tell my fellow Republicans I said that. It's like, so, Romney, you're obsessed about not cutting the military budget. And yet you even said you want to increase the military budget. Why? Planning on going to war with anybody? Again, the Pentagon's saying they don't need this money. You say you want to reduce the $16 trillion debt. All things must be on the table. Is this here's my theory. Is this a Republican thing? Like you're so scared that if you reduce military budget, you'll look like a bunch of pussies? You're afraid to be called a pussy? If you reduce the military deficit just a teensy-weensy bit? You cut one less tank, one less submarine, you're going to be labeled a hippie? Come on. The war on terror is winding down. Bin Laden's dead. Yes, there's still terrorists out there, but it's time to start winding this down a little bit. We've got enough security. We're war-weary, okay? We like to focus on things here again. Not saying that, of course we have a military, of course we need to do things and so on. Now, question for Barack Obama. You beat Hillary Clinton. Now, Mr. Obama, why did you beat Hillary in the 2008 primaries? You beat Hillary Clinton in the 2008 primaries for one reason and one reason only. Hillary voted for the war in Iraq, and the Democrats never forgave her for that. Now, you ran in 08 on a peace platform on ending the war in Iraq and ending the war in Afghanistan and ending this and ending that. Now, your supporters are under the belief that now you did keep your promise to pull troops out of Iraq, but we're still in Afghanistan, and we still have soldiers dying every week in Afghanistan. Now you keep bragging on and on and on and on and on that you killed Bin Laden, you killed Bin Laden, you killed Bin Laden, which you did. So if you killed Bin Laden, what the hell are we still doing in Afghanistan? Follow-up question. President Obama, you went to war with Libya without Congress's permission, without a declaration of war. All the stuff you criticized Bush for going to war in Iraq, you did it. And what's sick is so many supporters don't even know this. I'll show you a video. There's a video on YouTube where someone asks Obama supporters, like, what do you think about Libya? And they're like, what? What do you think about the incident in Benghazi? You went to war with Libya. Now, you beat Hillary on an anti-war platform, and you flip-flopped on this one. Now, you accuse Romney of flip-flopping, which he has, but you flip-flopped on the war issue, and we're still in Afghanistan, and nobody's calling you on that. Now you keep hearing, well, I pulled those troops out of Iraq? Yeah, but what are we still doing in Afghanistan? I killed Bin Laden. Yes, so what are we still doing in Afghanistan? And again, why are we in Libya? Our embassies were blown up a month ago. An American embassy was blown up and an American ambassador was killed. That is a declaration of war in of itself. And you blamed a YouTube video. You blamed YouTube. Some idiot made a YouTube video. I watched the video, by the way. It looked like a third grader had made it, where some guy made fun of the Prophet Muhammad. And because of that, there was protests in Egypt at the American embassy, and on that same day our embassy in Libya was blown up. You assumed incorrectly that it must have been something to do with that video. The guy who made that YouTube video, he's in jail right now. He's in jail. Yes, I know, for probation violation, but still. I thought we had a First Amendment in this country. And I have a question for the President. You've even been tickling with the idea of creating an international law, an international the United Nations is proposing an international blasphemy law, that no one can make fun of Islam or the Prophet Muhammad or else it's considered a hate crime. Well, we used to have a First Amendment. I guess it doesn't apply anymore. I was unaware that was in the First Amendment. The First Amendment does not apply to Muhammad. And then we found out it had nothing to do with the YouTube video. It was a terrorist attack. Now, you're blaming Al-Qaeda, and so is the FBI and the CIA. Here's my opinion. I think we were betrayed. I think the Libyans did this. I don't think Al-Qaeda did this one. I think we were betrayed. We helped Libya, and then they betrayed us. Just like Somalia, just like Afghanistan, just like many other countries we've aided. You beat Hillary Clinton, and you won the leftover with your anti-war stance in 2008. But you went to war with Libya without a declaration of war, without asking Congress, and we're still in Afghanistan, and troops are still dying in Afghanistan, and you're not specifically saying why. Question for Ron. You're again saying that debt is your number one issue, and for the record, the debt is my number one issue too. Here's the thing. You're saying that you think we can just cut our way out of this deficit. Well, Mr. Romney, even if you froze federal spending, let's say the federal government spends $0.00 in 2013. That $16 trillion debt's still there. That's like raking up a 16,000 credit card debt, and we're just not going to spend anymore. Okay, you're good. You're not going to add to it, but that debt's still there. So here's my question to Romney. You're on record saying that you want to renew all of the Bush tax cuts and maybe even do some more tax cuts. We've done the Bush tax cuts for over a decade. Now, I used to like them. I mean, I benefited from them. I got my tax reduced for a while, but we kind of have a $16 trillion dragon to tackle. Shouldn't the logical thing to be, like if this was a credit card debt, shouldn't it be to spend less and put more money down? In other words, why not let some of the Bush tax cuts expire? Now, I understand if you let all the Bush tax cuts expire, it'll be tax-mageddon. It'll be a huge tax increase. We'll go back to the tax rate of the 90s. Well, why can't you just let some of them expire? And I'm not just talking for the rich. How about meet halfway? Instead of having them go back to the rate of the 90s, why not let them just increase halfway? Or something. Shouldn't all things be on the table for deficit reduction, including a little bit of a tax hikes for the rich, and yes, even for me? Question for Obama. Your one solution for the deficit is just to tax the rich, and that's it. Very few reductions, just tax the rich, that'll solve all our problems. Mr. President, if you tax the rich at 100%, that will not equal $16 trillion. You could take all of Donald Trump's money, and that won't even equal $1 trillion. If you raise taxes on everybody, even just a smidge, the government could get anywhere between $1.2 to $2 trillion in revenue in a year. And that might be a nice down payment. So, shouldn't that also be on the table? Now, of course I don't like the idea of raising taxes. Believe me, $200 to $300 in taxes gets taken out of my paycheck every week, and that pisses me off. All I care about is if my taxes go up, I want 100% of the extra money going down to pay down this $16 trillion debt. Because it'll destroy this country, and we'll become a third world country if we don't take care of this debt. We'll be like Zimbabwe, where a $100 million bill equals chump change. I don't know. I'm just saying that's my little issue.